Finally, finishing up this 4-day tour, y'all. So, fourth day. Just to recap real quick though, so we started off at the Gallie Arts District in Melbourne, Florida. Next day, took it down to Fort Lauderdale and spent the night in Hollywood, Florida. Woke up the next morning after that, went down the street just a little bit down to Miami, and then finally, we're back home. Today we're going to be taking it right across the river to Patrick Space Force Base. And not only are we closing out the month of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage, but your boy got invited to be the guest speaker at the ceremony. Not really too much of an idea of what we're going to talk about when we get up on that stage, but we'll say some few words, then knock out this show and take it from there.
I'm not going to lie to y'all, just walking up the stairs, I don't know what I'm going to say yet. So, yeah, first off, hello, good morning, hafade, aloha, talofa, yorana, mabuhay. Yeah, I forgot that one, sorry. So, yes, thank y'all. Thank you, Major Aragon, Miss Brito, and General Purdy. Thank y'all for the opportunity. And yeah, ever since the opportunity came and they're like, hey, Sergeant Regis, kind of how'd you feel about speaking at the Asian American Pacific Islander event? And I panicked a little bit and I was like, yeah, cool, why not? But then I started to think, why me? What makes me significant enough to go up there and speak to all our folks about this? And it took some homework. So I went back, started looking through some old pictures and looking where it all started. So like the major, my siblings and I are first generation U.S. state born in our family. So that's it was pretty cool. The family's originally from Guam. Yes, it is a U.S. territory, but to be born in the States, it really kind of set the ball rolling for everything that our family has now. And that's where we came from. So born and raised in a very peaceful area, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Not many people realize how beautiful it is there because it's not. But yeah, a lot of my siblings, so the baby of 5, and that taught me a lot growing up because we would see how each person in the family played their role. And that ties in a lot with our island culture. So we would see how each person, their individual roles, made the family come together, be successful, survive through everything, all the stuff we went through. And over the years, I started to see all the lessons my mom would teach us. And then again, being the baby of 5, my older siblings started to grow up and move on. My brother went in the Marines, my sister went in the Navy. And then one of the lessons my mom said, she sat me down, she said, boy, just don't go in the Army. I was like, her one rule, don't go in the Army. I was like, cool. So I go to the recruiting center, and just lucky enough, the first door on the right, because I'm gonna work smarter, not harder. First door on the right happened to be Air Force, and boom, here I am. First 4-year sentence in Minot, then down to San Antonio for a while, now here's the beautiful state of Florida. And been sharing our culture ever since. Our family, you guys are actually gonna see a lot of my family up here today as we perform later on, but we're doing big things in Texas and now here. So we've just spent almost our whole lives just sharing our culture and what we, and that's just me. And what I know about me as an individual, that I am just one example, one drop in the whole sea of Asian American and Pacific Islanders throughout the Department of Defense, not just the Air Force, but the entire. And that pool of people stems from a long history. Looking back, even in current times right now, the Military Enlistment Processing Center, or the MEPS station in Honolulu, actually has the largest footprint for all of DOD. So they process all of our Pacific Theater folks into the military from Honolulu. At one point in time, Guam, small as the territory as it is, enlisted more personnel per capita than any state in the U.S. So again, the Pacific Islands, the Asian American culture, we just bring so much to the table in the Department of Defense, and it's amazing because we can be here with y'all today. Another thing tied in with our culture is the Guam liberation. So in the War of the Pacific during World War II, such a major theater of operations, of all places, y'all, if you ever make it to Fredericksburg, Texas, it's just in the middle. You from there? You're from like one of 10 people from there. A real small area, Fredericksburg, Texas. They have a whole museum dedicated to the War of the Pacific, and that really highlights everything that went on that side of the world and how it contributes to everything we hold true today in the heritage of the military. Seeing all of that, what went on when we think of Iwo Jima, when we think of other areas, Korea, the Philippines, all of that, that is the main reason why we recognize and celebrate Asian American Pacific Islander Month. And closing it out today on the 31st here with y'all. And knowing the tradition, knowing the culture and all that is one thing. But if we're not doing anything with it, then it means nothing. So how do we employ that today? Well, I'll tell you guys that knowing my culture, coming up through it, knowing what we represent and how we operate, it bleeds into everyday operations. When we talk about team roles and responsibilities, you know, it helps us make the decisions when we're thinking like, okay, I'm the baby of 5, my brothers and sisters stole my food growing up, it's okay. How do we translate that to be a better leader? How do I be a better military member? I lean back on all those lessons my mom used to talk to us about when I was a kid, and we relate that to our people in the work centers, in all our different branches. And we talk about if we operate together as a team, when everybody has their own role, we come together, we could be successful through any of the craziness, like when we go overseas or home station, anything. All of it ties back to, again, when I relate to little lessons we learned as a kid. And you know, those family values. If I could say one thing though, is if anybody, PCSs, you go to a different base, you go to a different area, the one thing I have absolutely passed on everywhere I've went is that when you get to a new area and you want to eat good, you want to have a good time, find the Islanders. Guaranteed. You know, they got the examples, like the little sample plates over there. I'm telling y'all, if you go somewhere, find them. You know, just look for the ones that look like a short, bald, brown guy like this. You'll be all right. And part of me wanted to leave y'all, you know, the final thought for y'all just being something simple, like, you know, one world, one ocean, one people. Because that's how we get through. You know, diversity and inclusion has been something so significant lately, and we talk about it and how we all come together, especially being like a true minority. You know, we're almost like an endangered species. But then when we talk about the diversity and inclusion, and we're coming together, so it really is just one world, one people. But something more significant that hit me when I was coming up the stairs was from Dr. King. You know, Dr. King once said that we may have all come in on different ships, but now we're all in the same boat. So when we remember that, it helps us get through everything together. And again, I just want to thank y'all. Appreciate it. I know it's hot. Stay hydrated. Oh. I heard one. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you, Major.
At this time, we're going to bring our tamari'i or our keiki, our kits out.
And that is it. Whew. Really busy 4-day weekend, y'all. man, just going through all those cities, many thanks and a shout out to all the folks for the Hiti Mahana family here in Florida. All the traveling, the crazy weather, the great memories, awesome music, and putting on these amazing shows for the various audiences that we had. Definitely thanks for sticking it out through the heat today on bass. So, if y'all like these videos and you want to go back through, start at part 1 and work your way through in case you missed it, click right here, starting off at Gallie in Melbourne. And if you want more videos, right up here, jam that subscribe button. We appreciate y'all coming through, enjoying these crazy times with us. Until next time, y'all. Peace.